everybody, my name is Heather, and today I'll be going through all of the books on my physical TBR and deciding if I'm going to keep them and eventually read them or if I should donate them or sell them. Uh, Also, along with this, I will be deciding which books I will be taking with me when I move this fall to go up to college. So I can obviously only take like 5 to 10 books because I won't have that much room and also probably won't really have that much time to read. So I'm limiting, I can't bring my whole bookshelf. So this will help me to pick which books that I will bring as well. But I have my list here. It's 3 pages long. Of all of the books that are on my physical TBR. I went through and wrote them all down. There are 75 books that are on my bookshelves that I have never read. Some of these have been on my physical TBR for upwards of 10 years, and I have yet to either read them or finish reading them. This list will also include books that I have started but haven't finished reading. So it's not entirely books that I haven't touched at all, but some of them I started reading them 10 years ago, so we will see how this goes. I did sort of a similar thing just on my own a couple of years ago to write down all the books that I hadn't read on my bookshelf and try and get through some of them, and there were some that I read, like Emergency Contact, that had been on my shelf for probably 5, 6, maybe even more years, and I finally read it last year and I ended up really liking it. So hopefully this will inspire me to actually go back and read some of the books that I purchased years ago. So starting off, we have The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is actually the book that I'm reading right now. I'm about almost a fourth of the way through, so obviously we'll be keeping this one. It's the one that I'm reading right now. So far I'm really liking it. And then the next one we have is Dracula. I've had this book probably since I was about 9 or 10, and I have not made it super far, about a fourth of the way in. You can see it's dog-eared because back when I was 10 years old, I dog-eared my pages. My brother's read this book and he really likes it. It's hard for me to get through just with the style of reading. I don't read a lot of classic books that are kind of in that older style of writing, but I do really want to hopefully get through one day. Also, I just don't want to get rid of all of the classics that are on my bookshelf because I don't have that many, and I want to have a little classic section just for, something different sometimes. So I will be keeping this one. Let's see what's next. I'm going to try to go through this whole list kind of faster because there's 75 of them and I don't want to be here for 2 hours. Little Women. I didn't ever make it very far into this book. It was purchased similar time as Dracula, so about 10 years ago. I would like to hopefully read it one day and actually get through it. Kind of similar to Dracula in the sense that I would like to keep kind of a more classic book on my shelf. Plus it is so cute, the cover, and I really love the story. I've watched the movie, multiple versions of the movie several times, and I really like it. So I would really like to hopefully force myself to actually read the book at some point, so I'll be keeping this one. Then we have The Last Letter from Your Lover. This is one of the books that I got for Christmas with my 12 Days of Bookmas Advent calendar. So it's more recent, and it was one that was randomly selected for me by the creator of the Advent calendar. I'm not super familiar with it. I know I looked it up and it had been made into a movie as well. But I'm interested to read it, and part of what I was wanting to do with the advent calendar was read some different books that I'm not super familiar with or that are from different genres that I don't usually delve into. So far I'm not ready to get rid of this one. I don't read a lot of books like this, or like this is a romance book, I believe, and I don't read a lot of just romance, but I'm interested to see more about it. I know it has a dual timeline with like the 60s, and so I'm not ready to fully get rid of it yet, but maybe if I still haven't read it next year, maybe. Alrighty, the next one is the Falling in Love montage. You can see my bookmark because I did start reading this again probably about 9 or 10 years ago. I never made it even 50 pages in. Looks like I'm on page 46. I really want to keep it and read it because, you know, it's a cute little sapphic romance, but I don't know if I may have progressed past the point of this book being for me, because, you know, I bought this book when I was probably in like junior high, and the characters, you know, are teenagers and everything, and now it's my birthday in a couple of days. I'm turning 22, so I don't know if maybe I've progressed past the target audience for this book, so I'm gonna put it in the maybe pile because I don't want to get rid of it because, you know, it's so cute and I want to read more sapphic romance, but I don't know if it's maybe a little too middle grade for me now. Let's see. We'll come back to it at the end. Next we have Lobezona, which I will be keeping. I really want to read this book. So I'm going to put this in the maybe bring to school pile. I haven't decided yet. That's what this is all for. We're gonna have a lot of piles here, but I'm gonna put this in the maybe bring to school pile because I really do want to read it. It is, you know, about, from my understanding, things, you know, related to ICE and you know, undocumented immigrants and the fear around having your family ripped apart, and things like that. So I want to read that kind of narrative from that perspective. So I'll put it in my maybe bring to school pile. Next we have Girl in Pieces. Obviously I purchased this at a very mentally ill stage of my life. When I really wanted to read a lot of sad and broken and poetic things, and I never read a single page of it. But I'm still interested in reading it, so I think I will keep it. Next we have The Goldfinch. I don't know. I had heard a lot of really good things. I purchased this book, I don't know, remember when, but it was like around the time that the movie was coming out, and so I was like, oh, let me read the book and then I can watch the movie. And I also bought the DVD. I bought the DVD of the movie, and then I never watched the DVD because the rule was that I had to finish the book before I could watch the movie, and then I never read the book. So actually a couple of days ago I finally watched the movie, which is part of what inspired this video. I watched the movie and it was good. It wasn't usually my style of what I would like in a movie. Plus I did feel like it was missing a lot and it was kind of disconjointed, and I don't know if that was because of the style or because it was a movie and there was just more in the book that you were missing. So I'm not ready to get rid of it yet, because I am interested, you know, knowing the storyline now and everything. I am interested to see if it makes more sense in the book. Actually, we might put this in the maybe bring to school pile. Okay, The Song of Achilles. Achilles? Also one you can see, a lot of these you can see that I've been in the middle of. So this one, I made it 120 pages and then haven't picked up for a few years. Really want to read this one as well. I've heard amazing things. Everything that I've heard about it and read about it so far has been really good. It's like obviously raved about. So I will put this in my maybe bring to school pile, but definitely keeping it either way. Daisy Jones and the Six. I bought this many years ago after reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I love that book. And this is by the same author, so I wanted to read more of her stuff, and then I never did. I'm still interested in this book, so I will be keeping it, but I don't think I'll like bring it to school or anything. Paper Towns. This was actually gifted to me, kind of. Someone didn't want it anymore and they were like, here's a book, Heather. And the only John Green book that I ever read was The Fault in Our Stars, which is really good, but from my understanding, this book is quite different from it. I think it's more like a mystery, maybe. I'm not sure if I like mystery, but I'm not sure if this book is maybe not for me. Like maybe it's too kind of similar to the other one. Maybe it's too young for me now. Not that there's anything wrong with reading middle grade books as an adult, but I don't know if it's my style now, so I'm gonna put it in the maybe pile. Plus it was never like I didn't ever buy it myself, so. Imogen, obviously. This is by Becky Albertalli. I'm so sorry. I love Becky, and she was an auto-buy author of mine. Back when I was in like middle school, early high school, I would buy all of her books, and that's why you're about to see a lot of them. Because she's such a good writer, and I love her books, but I don't really read a lot of books like this anymore. Like, obviously the ones that I love and why she became an auto-buy author for me was, with Simon versus the Homo sapiens and Leah on the Offbeat, and I loved those, and so I was like, let me buy all of her books. And then I didn't read them. So, but I want to because I love her and I love her writing, and really I would be interested in getting back into this style of book, because I think Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda is a book that I come back to and reread all the time as a reminder that I can sit down and read a whole book in one sitting, because I have never in my life read that book in more than one day. Like, I will just read through the whole thing because I love it so much. And so I want to get back into that. I don't want to say easy read because that maybe sounds rude, but easy read, like it's a comfort read and it's nice and you just are hooked and you want to go through it. And very different than like the complex fantasy that I read more often now. So I will probably be keeping this. Yes. But we have a lot more Becky coming. We have Kate in Waiting, which is another Becky Albertalli book. I will probably keep this one as well. Yeah, it's similar like high school, friendship dynamics, romance, different things like that, which is not as much what I read anymore, but I love Becky, and I want to see if I can get back into this more comforting, easy style of reading. Just every once in a while as a nice break. Here we go again. We have Yes, No, Maybe So, which it's a signed first edition. Well, then I can't get rid of it. It has his signatures. Well, there goes that one. I'll be keeping it. It's got their signatures. I didn't even remember that. Okay, we have another one, What If It's Us, which I did actually start this one. Made it about a fourth of the way in. I usually stop books about a fourth of the way in. I don't know why, but this one I made it about a fourth of the way in as well. It looks like 160 pages. I want to finish it. I do. The only problem is sometimes when I want to finish a book that I started so long ago, I get kind of overwhelmed because I'm like, do I even remember the first quarter of the book that I read? Or do I have to start over? So we will see. Yeah, I think a lot of these are gonna be like, come back next year, and if I still haven't had any interest in reading them, then I might get rid of them, but for now I'm keeping it. We're giving it a chance. I'm gonna say the same exact thing next year because I hate getting rid of books that I will never read. That's why I have, you can't really see, you can see how empty my bookshelf is when I take off all the books I haven't read. It's kind of sad. But let me show you this shelf, right? I'm so bad at this. This shelf right here is a bunch of books that I loved when I was in like elementary school. And so they're just like nostalgic to me, you know? Okay. And so I don't want to get rid of them, even though the likelihood of me ever reading them again, because they are books for an elementary schooler, is very low. But I love them and they have a special place in my heart, and I hate getting rid of books. So this is a hard thing because I am going to get rid of some of these, I promise. Yeah, I know I just keep keeping everything, but I will. Okay. Stalking Jack the Ripper. I will be keeping it because I just keep feeling like, maybe I'll put this in maybe. I'll put this in maybe. I'm gonna come back and keep it, but I'm gonna put it in maybe because I've never even started it. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in maybe. It just seems, I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretending that I can have self-control. Okay, next one. As Good as Dead. I will be keeping this. I finally went back and read the second book last year. So basically what happened with this one is that I read the first book when I was in like, again, junior high, early high school, forever ago. And I didn't know it was a trilogy. I only read the first book and thought that we were done. Because they're connected, but they're all like their own mystery that she's solving. And so I didn't know that there was more. I thought we were done with the story. And then I found out a few years ago that it was a trilogy, so I bought the other two books because I had really liked the first book. And then I never touched them. And then last year, kind of what I was saying earlier, going through this project again, was to read books that I had sitting on my shelf that I hadn't read. And so I read the second book finally last year. And it was good. But I still have to read the third book. I know I keep having big gaps in between all the books that I read. But the second book was like, I didn't like it as much as the first book, but I think a lot of that was because I've changed a lot, because again, it had been many years since I had read the first book and I was older. But I do want to read this, and also, should I watch the show? I haven't watched the show, but I like the books, so maybe I would like the show. I'm not sure, but let's see. I'll keep this. that was the end of stack number 2 out of 7. So we still have some ways to go. I am trying to go through this fast, sorry. Okay. The Hobbit, which is actually not my book. I'm borrowing this from my brother, but I borrowed it about probably like 2 years ago. And so this is actually his book. But I will still be trying to read it, so I haven't returned it. Sorry, Aaron. Pride and Prejudice. I will be keeping this. I don't know that I will ever read it. Probably, hopefully, I will read it. My brother recently read it, and he had some good things to say about it. But this book, either way, I will be keeping because I got it when I was on a trip when I was 13. It was like a trip that I went on by myself or like with a group, but you know, without my parents and everything. So this, you know, is a good reminder of the experiences and everything. So I'll be keeping it because I got it at a little bookshop in Illinois. And then Friction. This is another book that I got in my Bookmas advent calendar last year. I'll be keeping it. It is definitely something that sounds like I would never read. Like, sounds like something that I would have not really read before. But it seems like a mystery, and I want to read more mysteries. If I don't make it very far in the book, then I'll just give up and donate it. But I want to give it a try because, you know, I want to kind of explore more genres, push my boundaries, whatever. Okay, now we're gonna go a little bit faster because we're getting into much of series. So we have the second, third, and fourth books of the Pretty Little Liars series. I recently bought these about probably like a month and a half ago, and I read the first book, but I haven't read the other 3 books in the first arc, I don't know, section of the series, whatever. I bought them because I love the show. I've loved the show since I was like 12 years old. I rewatch it all the time. I know it's such a bad, messy show, but it's just iconic, and I love it so much. And so I wanted to read the books, but it's so hard to find the original editions because I don't want to read the new editions because they were like re-released or whatever a couple of years ago with like updated pop culture references. And so it talks about like TikTok and Doja Cat and stuff, and like that's fine, but it's like weird to change. I don't know why they made that decision because the book is set in like what, 2008, 2009, something like that. And so it's just weird to have all these like modern pop culture references thrown in there. Like it just kind of throws you off. And so I didn't want to read the new editions, I wanted to read the original editions. And so I was able to find them on like a resale site, like used book site. And so that's how I got the original 4 books of the old versions. And so I've been reading them, but obviously they're more middle grade, so they're not like my main focus. They're just for fun and for my love of the show and my love of the story. So I wanted to have them, but they're not really like what I would usually read now as an adult, you know. But I wanted to have them. Plus, like, you know, they've got the, you know, iconic like doll covers and the models on the back and everything. So I just wanted to have them more for myself than anything else. Next we have volume 3 of Guardian. I read the first 2 volumes last year, maybe, or the year, I don't remember, but yeah, I think last year. But I haven't finished the 3rd one yet. I'm about to you're gonna know what I'm saying. I'm about a fourth of the way in. I don't know what it is about me and making it a fourth of the way into a book, but I want to finish the story and know how it ends, obviously, so I'll be keeping. The Scum Villain's Self-Saving System. I started this book. Is this an envelope? That's my bookmark. I started this book, made it 50 pages in, but I don't know, it didn't pique my interest as much as the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation did, which is by the same author. But I don't want to get rid of them because I really like that book. And actually, my brother and sister recently read the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and they really liked it as well. So I would love to read, or maybe have them read whatever, some more books by the author. So similarly, we also have Heaven's Official Blessing, which I bought the first volume of both of them when I bought all the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation books, because I want to read more by the same author. So I think I'll keep them both, but I think I might try to read Heaven's Official Blessing first instead of this one, just because this one, to be honest, I didn't really get into it as much. But again, I only made it like 50 pages in, so we'll see. But either way, I'll keep them. Then we have the Husky and his White Cat Shih Tzu. This one was, did I make it? Made it 30 pages in. And I kind of saw it and was interested in reading it, but I don't know too much about it. I'm not very far into it, but I'm still interested in reading it, so I'll keep it. Then we have Kinporsh, the first volume, which I bought after I found out that they were translating them because I liked the show. And I knew that the books were I knew that there were differences between the book and the show, but yeah, it hasn't so far caught my interest. I think, not to be rude, but sometimes the show is better. So, and I don't think I will read the series, so I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. I know that the books I've heard are, how do I put this? Maybe less consensual sometimes than the show was, which, yikes. Especially if they still end up together. I'm not here for romanticizing non-consensual relationships. But anyway, yeah, I'll put it in the maybe pile and we'll come back to it. The Assassin Game. I couldn't tell you anything about this book. I bought it when I was probably like maybe 13, 14. As like ooh, spooky. Because I was really big at the time on like thrillers, mystery, whatever. And I literally never read a single page of it. So I think I have no interest in reading this book, so I'm going to get rid of it. And all the books that I get rid of, I will probably take to like half-price books and try to sell, and then whatever I can't sell, I will donate. But I need some money, so if I can sell them, then I will. Sorry. Darkest Minds. This was, part of the dystopian blast, the love for dystopian stuff, where I bought a ton of dystopian books, but I never really got into this one. I don't know, it was not really my thing as much, and I don't think it's going to become my thing now, so I will be getting rid of this. I don't know that I can sell this though, because it's already got the half-price books sticker on it. Because I got it from half-price books. Can I give it back to them? I don't know, but we will see. But that's the second one I'm getting rid of. So look at me. I'm doing it. Maybe. Okay, the next one is Violet Made of Thorns, which is gonna go in the maybe pile. I like this book. Like, I think I had made it. I guess I took the bookmark out. Well, that's not very helpful, Heather. Anyway, I had made it probably like a third of the way in. Like, I made it a good chunk in, but I found out that the author like never continued writing. Like, and so I don't know. I'll have to do a little more research on if this is a standalone or if it was meant to be a series, because she never continued it. She never like continued writing after this book. She said that after this book was released, she just quit writing, I think for mental health reasons. Which I get it, but at the same time, it's like if this is the first in a series, then I don't know that I really want to read it if I'll never know how it ends. So that will be something I'll have to look into, but I'll put it in the maybe pile. Okay. Let me put this in the right order. Maybe. We have the second, third, fourth, and fifth books in the Maze Runner series. I read the first book and then I just haven't read the rest of the books. I like the first book and I love the movies. I know that might sound bad if you are a diehard book fan, sorry, but I love the movies. They are one of the movie series that I can just rewatch constantly. I have a few different ones like that like franchises that I can just go back and rewatch all the time and I will never be sick of them. Like I think the most recent time that I rewatched the Maze Runner series, I rewatched the movies last fall. So it's probably been like 8 months, 7 months, something like that. So not very long, but I rewatch them probably at least once a year. I love them so much, and of course I wanted to read the books, but then I just never got around to finishing the books. So, but I'll be keeping them because I think that James Dashner is releasing another Maze Runner book, if I am remembering correctly. So it would be interesting to read these and catch up and see what the new book is about. Okay, then we have Shatter Me, which I only got like maybe 6 months ago. This was a series that I had been wanting to read for a while and had heard a lot of good things about, but I had just, when I was younger, never really been exposed to it. I never really knew anything about it when I was probably closer to the age this was meant for. But I think, if I understand correctly, because I think this series goes forever. Like, if I understand correctly, there's like a bajillion books in this series, and they just keep going. And I think that as the series goes, it kind of grows with its audience, if I understand correctly. And so, like, this is kind of more middle grade, but I think it kind of gets a little more mature as the series goes on. So we will see. But I wanted to obviously read the first book and see if I'm interested in it. It hasn't hooked me in fully yet, but I think that's, like I was saying, mostly because it's a little bit younger than what I would read usually now. So there is a chance that I've kind of just missed the hype and missed the time that I should have read this. And I don't know if it's too late, but I want to see about getting into it because I've just heard so many good things about it. So I will be keeping it, and you can see I'm a little bit into it, but I'll be keeping it and trying to read it. I don't want to give up. Okay. Then we have the 100 series. I loved the show. I didn't watch the whole show. I only watched through, I think there's 7 seasons, and I watched through like maybe halfway through season 6, and then I gave up because if you watch the show, you get it. But I really liked the earlier seasons of the show. Like the first 5 seasons really were really good, and I know that the books I think are quite different, if I understand correctly, than the show. And a lot of people said that the show was way better than the books. But as a young person, I bought the books because I had heard that in the books, Bellamy and Clark get engaged, and they're like actually together in the books, which is something that the show for some reason never did. Okay? So I bought the books for them. Sorry. And actually they're not so bad so far. I'm only like a little bit into the first book, but I felt like they weren't so poorly written, you know? Like maybe people were, but I don't know. I have barely gotten to planet Earth, so we will see. But there's like characters, yeah, that like are not in the show at all and different things, so already it's been very different. But I'm not ready to completely give up on the series. My goal for this one was kind of to read the first book, and then if I want to continue, I'll keep them and read them. If I don't want to continue, then I will get rid of them. It's kind of a compromise. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm going so slow. Okay. We have the Infinite Sea and The Last Star, which is the second and third book of the Fifth Wave series. Loved Fifth Wave, and would love to continue. I'm about halfway almost into the second book, so I'll be keeping them. It's been a while since I have read, I don't know why I tapped all over, but it's been a while since I've read them. I read Fifth Wave many years, probably like, I don't know, 8 years ago. But I would love to figure out how this series ends. And yeah, so actually I have Fifth Wave now. I didn't have the book. I had lent it to my brother, and it went like missing for years and years, and so I only had the second and third books. But recently we found it after I don't know how many moves. We've all moved like 3 times since then, but finally someone found it, and I have it back. Okay. Then we have the second, third, and fourth books of the Mortal Instruments series. The first book I did read. It was a gift to me when I was like 12. And I read the first book, but I just never read the rest of the series, and I had bought the second, third, and fourth books to continue, but I never actually continued. Like I literally never even, oh no, I started a little bit. You can barely see. But I made it a little bit into book 2, but then I never continued. And now I would really like to continue because I don't want to get rid of them because the pictures line up on the spine. And I love that. It makes me so happy. So I want to keep them and read them and love them. But I don't really remember the first book because it's been 10 years since I read it. So I might have to reread the first book or read like a Spark Notes of the first book because I don't really remember what happened. But I'll be keeping them because they're so beautiful. Okay, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is the only Hunger Games book that I haven't finished. And I started it before I started Sunrise on the Reaping, because because it wasn't out yet. But I never finished this one. And I think it's just because it's from Snow's perspective, and I really hate that guy. And reading from his perspective is like so annoying. Because I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, at first I was worried that they were going to try, and I don't know why I was worried, but I was worried that they were going to try and like have it be from his perspective to like kind of give like a reasoning for why he is the way that he is and like make him like forgivable. But no, it like just shows that he had all of these opportunities to be a good person and he just didn't take them. Like, he chose to be a terrible person. So he's not forgivable at all. But yeah, so far I will finish this, so I'll keep it obviously. But it's hard for me to get through because something about reading from his perspective, I'm just annoyed. Okay. We're down to 3 stacks. And we're gonna go back through them again, but whatever. Okay, finale, which is the 4th and final, obviously, book of the Hush Hush series. I read Hush Hush in middle school, and I made it about a 4th of the way into the last book, and then I just stopped and never came back. And I don't believe that I will ever finish this book. A part of me has kept it so long because I read the whole rest of the series, and this is the last book. So I was like, I just need to finish this book and then I'm done with the series. But I don't think I'm ever gonna read it. I'm gonna put this in maybe. Because I feel like if I get rid of that book, then I have to get rid of the whole series. Because I can't just have the first 3 books that I'm never gonna reread anyway. Okay, next we have books 7 and 8 of the House of Night series. I read the House of Night series when I was, now bear with me, because if you've read the series, you will not think that I should have read this when I did. I read the House of Night series when I was 10 years old, which was too young to be reading this book. But that's not the point. I read the House of Night series when I was 10 years old, and I made it into the 7th book, and then in the part, I believe, basically something happened in this book. I won't spoil it if you do want to read it, whatever. But something happened in this book that upset me so much that I just stopped reading the series and never came back to it. Because I was so devastated by what I had just read. I was like, no, I can't go on. Nope, I'm done. And I never finished it. And I think maybe there are even more books than this, I don't remember. But I have the first 8, either way. And I don't remember most of what happens in this book series because it's been almost 12 years since I read these books. So I don't know that I in order to read these books, I would have to start all over again. And I just don't feel like I can do that now because they were crazy fun books when I was 10 years old. But now at 22, I'm like, yikes. These books are a mess. I went through the wiki, the House of Night wiki, whatever, recently. And I was like, whoa, I don't remember half of this, and I should not have been reading this when I was 10 years old. The list of interests this lady had, the main character, all the people that she was with, I was like, how in book 1 or 2 is she being seduced and hooking up with her teacher? And then her boyfriend finds them, and then blah blah. And I was like, whoa, I don't remember this. Because I was like zooming through. Because when I was 10 years old, a lot of books I read like was because I was homeschooled for about 5 months. And so when I was homeschooled, I would read like a book every day. I was zooming through books because I didn't have anything else to do. And so I don't have a lot of memory of these books because I read them so fast. And also it's been, again, 12 years. But I will keep them because I don't want to get rid of the whole series. And maybe someday I'll go back and reread them. But I started reading the first book, like just to, flip through whatever. And I was like, yikes. I don't think it's my style anymore. This girl is judgy. Anyway, moving along. The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which is like a Twilight novella. I never read this one. I read the whole Twilight series, but I never read the novella. But I'll keep it. And I do want to read about it because I recently rewatched Eclipse on a plane with my mom. And I think Bree Tanner is in there. And she's just in that one, I think. Because then I think she dies. But I don't remember. And so it'd be interesting to know more about her. But I'm not really like in a rush to read it, but I don't feel like I need to get rid of it. It's small. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Okay, then we have The Songbird in the Heart of Stone, which I'm in the middle of a little bit. I took a break from it. This is the first book in the second duology of the Crowns of Nyaxia? I don't know how to say it, sorry. Series. Loved the first duology, and I've read the 2 standalones as well. One of the standalones, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, obsessed, love it so much. The other standalone, 6 Scorched Roses, not as much my style. I didn't like it as much as I liked all of the other books in this series. And so I kind of like, I wasn't as interested anymore, and that was right before I read this one. But I just was taking a break, but I do fully intend to go back, because I believe the last book in the whole series is about to be released, because it's made up of 3 duologies and some standalones, and so I think the second book in the 3rd duology is about to come out, so I want to catch up and I want to read them all because I really like them. So I'm obviously keeping this, and I'm putting this in the maybe bring to college. I lost track of my piles. I've got so many piles. Hold on, I have to move them or I'm gonna lose them. Okay. We have the 6th and 7th books. Sorry, the book landed on my ankle. In the Throne of Glass series, Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash. I never finished this series. I read it middle school and high school, and I really like it, but I just never finished it. I got about halfway through this Tower of Dawn, which is kind of a standalone in the series, but from what I understand, it provides important context for Kingdom of Ash. But it's from like side character perspectives. And I just never finished it, so, but I don't know, I don't want to skip ahead. Plus, it's been so long that I don't remember what happened. So, but I felt like this was kind of annoying, and I stopped it, not because it's bad, but because like the one before this ends like on a really big cliffhanger, and then all of a sudden you're at this side character at this whole different part of the world, and you're like, come on, I have to get through all this to know what happened at the end of the book, And so I got kind of frustrated, and I took a break and then never came back. But I would like to finish them because I would like to know how the series ends. So I'll be keeping them. Plus, like I said, I really like the rest of the series, and maybe I will just go through and reread them all, as if I have time for that. Okay, and then we have, is it upside down? Crescent City, which is also by Sarah J. Maas. I am going to get rid of this book. I have tried a couple of times, and I've never made it further than like this. It's just not my cup of tea at all. Yeah, sorry. I know a lot of people really like this series, and I think it connects to ACOTAR, but I just have never been able to get into it at all. Like, I know this was her first, like, adult, like, officially adult book, but I feel like maybe she went too into the adult part, because I've never been able to get past the part where this lady's just doing drugs and stuff. Sorry. But yeah, I just have not gotten into this one at all, and everyone I've heard says that it takes a long time to get into, and I've just never made it that far. And I will not be purchasing any more books from this author anyway, so I feel like I don't really need to read it when I'm not going to read the rest of the series anyway, and I can't really get into it, so why force myself? So I will be getting rid of it. Yeah, like I said, I won't be purchasing any more books from that author, but I still do want to finish the Throne of Glass series because I already own them. And I liked the storyline, so. Then similarly we have Court of Frost and Starlight, which I read the next book, Court of Silver Flames, but I just never read this novella. Like, I don't even know that I started it. Everyone that I've heard has said that, like, some people have found it's good, but everyone's kind of said that it doesn't really do anything. Like, it doesn't really have a lot of point to it. So if that's not right, let me know. But I've heard that it's kind of filler and doesn't have too much of a purpose, so I don't feel an overwhelming desire to read it. So I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. Okay, we have the Goddess of the River, which I recently purchased in Dublin, Ireland on my trip. I purchased it from the Chester Beatty Library, Museum, whatever. So I'm interested to read this. I just got it a couple of months ago, so I'll be keeping it. Trying to go fast. I know it's almost an hour already. I'm looking at the timestamp. Dragon Cursed was also a recent purchase about 2-3 months ago, so I'll be keeping it. I love when books have a design on the side. And this one I think I'll be putting in the maybe bring to school pile, which I've lost track of. Hold on. Okay. I moved it, and then I forgot that I moved it. Okay, Cruel Prince. I really want to like this book. I really want to get into this book because everybody says that this series, I think it's a trilogy, is so good. But I worry that I may have moved on in my life. I haven't made it very far. I know I just need to make it a little bit further because I recently watched the first episode of the show, which if you are not familiar or haven't heard about it, I believe a French like YouTube channel. I don't know like the specifics of it, but a French YouTube channel, a French group of people have made a TV adaptation of The Cruel Prince. I think it's called Elfame, which is like the name of the world, I think. Yeah. But anyway, they have made like a TV adaptation that has like episodes on YouTube. I don't know if more episodes are out, but the first episode for sure is definitely out, and I have watched the first episode and I really liked it. They did a good job, and the first episode went a little bit farther than